Hey YouTube, making this video to hopefully try to help somebody out. We have a Yamaha 4-stroke 40 horsepower engine that's been experiencing some issues. Issues like sputtering, dying out, hard start, bogging down when you give it throttle. It just didn't want to respond to any of it. So we checked all the basics. Put a brand new fuel line from the tank up front all the way to the rear. Put a brand new squeeze ball in there. Fired it up and got the same issue. We also checked for compression, which came back good. We checked for the coils firing, which they're firing. Replaced the spark plugs in it. Put a brand new fuel pump in there as well. Fired it up, same issue. So I was telling my cousin here that I think we have a carburetor issue going on. So excuse my garage. So we went ahead and removed the carburetors, and after tearing them apart, we noticed there was a lot of crud, a whole bunch of like scale, which I believe is from maybe ethanol gas, or just setting in there for so long that it dried up and just caused crud. I'm not exactly sure. We do know that the boat has been setting for 5 years. It hasn't been ran. So anyways, we went ahead and took the carburetors apart, and they were gummed up. These are the idle circuits that go in here. Those were gummed up. There is some tiny little ports right there. Hopefully the camera will pick that up. And a few of those little tiny ports were gummed up. So I stuck these in ultrasonic cleaner and ran them for like 30 minutes. Got them all cleaned up. Now, upon inspecting the lower fuel bowl here, there is a accelerator pump. This bigger hole here, inside there, was just totally gummed up. There's a plunger that goes in there, and I'll show you what I mean. So there's a spring that goes in here first, and then this little plunger here went in here. Excuse me. So when I took this apart, I noticed that this plunger was stuck down. I couldn't get it to move. When I tore the other carburetors apart, all the plungers was working. I go to remove this plunger, and I noticed it was stuck down. It would not move. It wouldn't come up, it wouldn't go down, it was just stuck down. Maybe like halfway down or somewhere like that. So anyways, I took some compressed air, and this tiny little port right here, we blew some air in there, and it finally popped out. Now when you do this, you got to make sure that you're gonna catch that little tiny part here, because it will pop out, and then it'll blow away and you're never gonna find it. So anyways, like I was saying, we noticed inside this bore was just gummed up with all kinds of crap. And no, I didn't sand anything in there. I didn't polish anything in there. What I did was I threw it in an ultrasonic cleaner. I noticed when it came out, it was still gummed up. So what I did was I put some PV blaster in that hole, took the corner of this rag and just started turning it to try to clean it up, because you don't want to stick nothing like a screwdriver or anything in there that's going to scratch these, that's going to scratch that bore. Because if you get that bore scratched, then you're for sure going to hang this part up in there, and this needs to move. This needs to move freely. I've seen other videos out there where people take these carburetors apart and they jet them up. They try to compensate for the issue, and you still have an underlying issue. You're just compensating for it. And people say, oh, it's running really good and it's better than what it was. And I was like, why would you need to jet it up? I mean, if it's from factory and the jets work from factory, they should work again. Upon inspecting these, let me find it. This little idle jet, there's also orifices in here. These were totally plugged up. You couldn't even see through that. So that needs to be open all the way through, or else the engine ain't gonna idle correctly. Or a hard start or bogging or whatever it was. I think this part of the carburetor is overlooked. I think a lot of people don't pay enough attention to this part here. Most of the videos I've seen out there, I've never seen anybody take this out and clean it. All I've seen was videos of people tearing these carburetors apart and just jetting them up to make them work. And I believe that this is the issue. I am going to definitely keep you guys informed to see if this fixed it. I'm pretty confident that it did. I hope it did, because I hate to take this all back apart again for some reason, but I think the issue is solved. I'll keep you informed. You just got to make sure and clean that out, and that little part needs to move back and forth freely. It just needs to move up and down. There should be nothing catching it. It shouldn't be getting stuck. There is like a little set screw. I don't know if the camera can pick it up because it's such of a tiny little screw, but there's a little tiny screw that sets right here that holds this. So when you push this down, you put the screw in there, this little screw right here, and this holds this in place. So that is something to look at when you're doing these carburetors. I think that's the actual issue with them. I think people are just not paying attention. I don't know what the case is, but that's it. Well, I will get back to you guys. Hopefully this helps somebody out on taking these things apart and getting them all cleaned up. You just got to make sure and spray out all these orifices with compressed air and carburetor cleaner and make sure everything's good. We're gonna get this all put back together. There is videos on how to tear all this apart and how to remove them from the engine. I'm not gonna get into that. There's plenty of videos out there on how to remove them from the boat and all that stuff. I'm just showing you the process of, taking, just cleaning them up basically. And this right here is, I believe, is what is causing this engine to run so crappy. Bogging down, sputtering, not starting, hard start. but I will definitely keep you guys informed. No, I'm not sponsored by Brake Clean or PB Blaster or Red Bull or anything like that. I wish I was, but I'm not. But anyways, I will keep you guys informed. There is going to be a part 2. There is going to be an update on this. And as soon as I get all this back together, I'll fire it up and see what I get. And if it's been repaired, I'm going to definitely make a second video on it. And even if it has not been repaired, I'm still going to make a second video on it. So I hope this helps somebody out. Just double check and make sure this moves freely. Make sure all these orifices are nice and clean. Blow some compressed air through them. You should be able to feel the air coming out. Main thing is like all these little tiny jets with all these little tiny holes. You got to make sure those are all free and clear. This is another jet with tiny little holes in it. Those all have to be open. Also this one's pretty big. Pretty hard to clog that one up. That one was open already. So yeah, just double check your work, and that's it, YouTube. I will keep you guys updated. Bye.